mountain on top of where my son's sitting. Okay, now I'll show you, and I'm not lying here, I almost died.
What?
Yeah, I'll show you, I almost died.
Really? What?
So, remember the waterfall I showed you? When the water level is low, you can actually go on the waterfall like a natural water slide. But because I really wanted to do it, but I didn't do enough research. So I did it, and I almost drowned because the water level was way too high. So what happened was, when I hit so I was coming down the slope like this. Okay, so that's the slope. And then it goes into the area where you swim. Okay? So the water was like this. Okay, so this is rock. Shield rock. This is the water. Okay? When the water is shallow, you can just slide into it and slip and swim out. Are you paying attention, Uche? Okay? But when the water is not shallow, this is what happens, and I did not know. So the water was traveling like this, and when it's shallow, when it's lower here, you just swim back to the shore where my wife was standing. Turn the light on, Selena, for a minute. But on this day, I didn't know. The water was higher than it should have been, because it was my first time here, I didn't know. So what happened was, when I hit here, there was a whirlpool that went up and down. Like that. Most whirlpools go like this. This one went like this. So even with my life jacket, when I hit here, the whirlpool pulled me under. And that was it. I thought my life was over. Now when you see it, you're going to be like, that's not a big deal. Okay? But I disappear for like 5 seconds. If I didn't have that life jacket on, I would have been dead. I thought I was dead. Those 5 seconds where I disappeared slowed down to like 5 hours. And I was completely helpless. The only thing that saved me was my life jacket let me bounce back up when it came here. So what it did when it came here is normally you go like this and you swim out. Okay, but because the water was a little higher and stronger than normal, it created that current. So what happened for me was it pulled me down, and most people don't come up from here. But I had the life jacket on. So it pulled me up, and instead of staying in the loop, I bounced out like that. And mine was the only family there that day that were wearing life jackets. Turn the lights off and I'll show you. And the water took me so hard, you'll notice my hands go like this. I go like this to protect my head from smacking off. Because once I started to go, I realized the water's way too rough today. But what was cool about it was I was only able to do this because I was on shield rock. Totally smooth. So watch, once I get going, I cover my head because I'm like, whoa. See right there? Now watch, here's where I disappear. That didn't look like much, did it? But I'll tell you one thing, when you're underneath that much water, look. gone. And I was terrified, man, like terrified. Right there, I'm swallowing all kinds of water because I'm trying to breathe and I'm sucking it in.
I can't believe we did that.
My mom doesn't realize, that's my mom talking. My mom doesn't realize that I almost drowned because it didn't look so bad. See, right here, I was panicked, so it just kept pulling me, and then finally I started to swim away. See how calm it gets afterward? But look, not a single person in there but my family wearing life jackets. That's crazy. I think my wife took one too.
They can find you guys in
No.
water.
So what's the moral of the story, kids? The moral of the story is, don't be an idiot. Around water, and make sure you wear a life jacket, no matter how uncool it makes you feel. So then out in Muskoka also, if I show you these videos, because I rented a boat while we were out there, I want you to look at this water for a minute. There's Preston. I don't know what that noise is. Here, this, so there's Press having a good time, right? Look at the color of that water. What color is it to you? More descriptive. Dark blue, almost black, right? You know why? Why do you think, Liana?
Because it's deep.
Not total, no, not really. It's over our head, absolutely. But in the deepest spot, I think Lake Muskoka is only like 30 feet deep. It's because there's no vegetation growing. There's no plants growing down at the bottom of it because it's Canadian Shield. So what's happening is the sun's coming in and it's hitting a dark rock and it's not, the light's not bouncing back up. So what's happening is the sun's coming in, and when the sun hits something dark, it doesn't bounce away. But when the light hits something light, it bounces away. Okay, so that's why the water looked so deep. In the first year, I couldn't figure it out. But it's because everything under us was stone. Canadian Shield. All right. Then we have plateaus. That's where you had a big smooth area, but over time, the earth carved out the softer areas. Okay, and these plateaus are most, like the Grand Canyon is an example of a plateau. Yes?
There's another landform is a plain.
The plain. And where's our plain?
On your left.
This guy, right?
No, yeah.
Why is it not showing so nicely? This guy. So this is a plain. This picture, plains are usually flat. The difference between a plain and a shield is what? What's the main difference? What, G?
The plane has vegetation on it?
Yeah, the plain has vegetation. Vegetation doesn't just mean vegetables. It means anything plants. Trees, weeds, vegetables, flowers, okay, crops, vegetation. And a plain can have little hills. It can have little hills, and if you look carefully, right here, you can actually see a little bit, looks like a little bit of a hill or something in the background. Okay? So those are the 5 landforms. That's what you need to know for chapter 1. Chapter 2, landforms, created and changed. So this is going to talk a little bit more about the landforms, and it's going to give us some insight into how they're created and how they change. So we've already talked about the world's tectonic plates, right? And you guys did your map. Cohen, you got to finish this map, okay, because you weren't here.
Yeah.
But basically, the Earth, right, the crust is what we see, correct? So, the continents, which are the 7 main land masses, a mass means like a piece. So we have 7 continents, right? We have North America, South America, Africa, Asia and Europe, or Eurasia, some people say. And we have Australia, plus Antarctica, way at the bottom. So we have 7 main continents. I think you guys all know that from a previous year, I'm sure. Okay? But the continents and the oceans are actually on top of plates. And they're big fat mammoth pieces of stone. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, in the lithosphere. So the lithosphere, you don't have to memorize that, but it's the layer directly under the what? Nathaniel. The lithosphere is this gray area that's directly beneath the... Huh? Yes. So these things here, this is where the plates live. And the plates move around because under it, it's what? What's under it? Andre? Liquid, right? Magma, or like a common way of thinking of magma is like lava. Okay, magma is rock that's been melted. You know what lava is, right? From a volcano. So magma, same type of thing, and that's below. So what you need to understand is crust, the lithosphere, or the area where the plates are. Okay? The plates are in the lithosphere, and they move because under it, it's liquid, magma. Okay? So if these guys are moving, and they're bumping into each other, it's going to create problems up here, isn't it? Right? And that's where we're at today. These plates move, and when they move, we learned, they cause things like this to happen. Because they create cracks in the earth, and it allows the magma to come up through the cracks so we can actually see it, which is pretty freaking cool if you think about it. If you go to Hawaii, you can actually see lava dripping because the island has got a permanent crack underneath it in the ocean, and it comes up through the ocean. And by the time it gets to